Hi, rock stars. What is going on? Just getting set up here. Happy day after Turkey Day. I am sure everyone is still very much in a food coma. So if anyone joins me today, I'm going to be hella impressed. I am still very much recovering from my Turkey Day. It was beautiful, but I think I have like just enough energy to do this live with you guys. So first of all, I want to apologize if you hear any screaming. I think someone's got like family in town that has a baby. Not a big fan of babies, don't really know what to do with them. And someone's baby has been crying, screaming at the top of their lungs like bloody murder all day long. I don't know what's happening. I assume the baby must be dying. There's no reason for a human being to be making the sounds this baby is making. So I have all the windows closed. I have everything all closed up. So hopefully you guys don't hear the crazy bloody murder that is apparently happening upstairs. But if you do, just let me know in the comments, and I don't know, maybe I'll move to my bedroom or something like that. But yeah, crazy bloody murder. If it's not sirens, it's baby screaming. It's always something, right? But I want to welcome you all to this week's tip of the week. This week's topic is going to be the top cocktails. Hey Yanni, what's up? Hey girl. The top cocktails that every new bartender needs to know. I want to thank Cocktail Bartender, that's his YouTube name or her YouTube name, for this topic idea. The question that they specifically, oh, thanks for the like. The question that they specifically posed to me was, what are the most popular, hey Mad Dog, what are the most popular cocktails? And my response to them was, the most popular cocktails are going to depend on your location. What cocktails are most frequently ordered by the people that you are going to be serving is going to be heavily dependent on where you are in the country, where you are in the world. The world of cocktails is incredibly huge. There are thousands of drink recipes, probably hundreds of thousands at this point. And what you are going to make a lot of will depend on what's poppin', what's interesting in your location, or the type of bar that you're working in, and like what is popular there. If it's a martini bar, then a lot of straight up cocktails will be made, etc. But I did want to talk about that topic a little bit in terms of what I believe are the most important cocktails for you to know as a new bartender. Because these are the cocktails that you will almost always be making a lot of in any bar environment, no matter where it's located or what the type of bar it is. And these drinks are also the basis of pretty much all the other drinks that you might get asked to make or that you might want to learn. Many of the drinks we're going to talk about today fall into the category of what we call classic cocktails. Classic cocktails are basically cocktails that existed before Prohibition, and then they returned to the scene when Prohibition was ended, but they're not trendy, they're not modern, they're not new. These are sort of old cocktail recipes that have been around for a very, very long time. And of course, for that reason, a lot of the drinks that are cool and modern and trendy are based on these classics. Because, if something works, why change it too much, right? So before I get into the topics and start covering my top cocktails, I just wanted to make a couple of quick announcements for you guys. The first one, if you've been watching the last few lives, you know, but I just want to let anyone who is new to the crew know that all of my instructional videos from now on are going to be available only on my website. So that's the RockStarBarGirl.com. I will be coming live every week here on YouTube, as well as posting various things here on this format. So don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I will always be on YouTube. But the beauty of my website is it's an educational platform designed for teaching classes. So it allows me to not only give you videos, but to also give you notes, quizzes, downloadable materials. There's a discussion board for every video that I post, so we can actually talk back and forth about the topic. So it's just a much better platform for actually teaching you guys the different topics that we go over. So for those of you who are really serious about learning how to bartend and really want to learn this from a job, getting ready to work type of perspective, then my website's just a much better place. So if you're looking for instructional videos, please make sure to head over to the RockStarBarGirl.com. Just sign up for the mailing list and you'll get an alert whenever a new video is posted, so you don't have to check back all the time. And the beauty of my mailing list is I don't spam you, because I don't really have anything else to talk about but bartending stuff. So you're only gonna pretty much get emails from me when like something's going on or there's a new class that's available. I also want to give you the heads up that 2 new instructional videos are going to be posted next week, and they're really cool. One is a honey syrup infusion video. So you may have already seen on my website my how to make simple syrup video, which is super crucial to cocktail making. You must know how to make simple syrup. But what you may not realize is simple syrup can be made in different ways, and one of the ways that you can play with simple syrup is by substituting the white sugar with other types of sweeteners. Honey is a popular one. But you can also give your simple syrups flavor by infusing herbs, spices, and aromatics into the recipe when you make it. So we're gonna make an herb-infused honey syrup together and then build a cocktail with it. So you're definitely gonna wanna check that out. That's gonna help a lot of you out in terms of understanding how to sweeten cocktails and how to make them, make your sweeteners from scratch. The other video that's gonna come out that I'm super excited about is my Everything You Need to Know About Wine video. This video has been in the making for the longest time because wine is so complicated. And I realized that as much as I know, there is just so much out there that it would be a good idea to get like an expert involved. So I hit up my friend Michelle Erlin, who's a certified sommelier, and she actually teaches the class for us. So there is unbelievable nuggets and gems and important information in there that's going to really make you shine on your interviews and make sure that you can answer all of those tricky little questions about wine perfectly. So make sure to sign up for my mailing list because those videos are coming out. Also, I just want to let you guys know that it is Black Friday in case you haven't already started shopping already. And I am running a huge sale. It is my biggest sale of the year. You're definitely going to want to take advantage of it because there isn't going to be a sale like this again probably until Black Friday next year. But my entire online course, The Fundamentals Every Bartender Must Know, which includes 8 full lessons, quizzes, assignments, downloadable PDFs, and my custom RockStar bar kit, my 16-piece bar tool set, is $150 off this weekend only. So this is the absolute lowest that the course is going to be. So make sure that you check that out. If you have been thinking about taking the course, now is the time to enroll. And if you have questions about what the course covers or whether or not it's right for you, remember that my ebook, The Fundamentals Every Bartender Must Know, is a 40-page ebook that covers all of the topics, techniques, and materials in my course, and it's completely free. When you sign up for the mailing list, you automatically get an email with the link to download it. So I highly recommend that you do that so you can check it out and decide if this course is right for you. So those are my announcements for the day. So I want to go ahead and get into the drinks. Oh, actually, I almost forgot. One more super important announcement. I'm drinking tea, guys. This is my Tea of Venus. I actually sell this tea. And I have an Etsy page called Bronx Witch Bodega. You should definitely check it out if you're interested in like handmade things. But that actually brings me to an important announcement. Someone last week asked me if I was going to be doing any meet and greets or if that's something that I would be interested in. And I don't have any meet and greets set up, but I am going to be doing a sort of public appearance this January 29th at 7 p.m. at the Melrose Ballroom in Queens, New York for an artist show called Raw Premiere. And it's basically a gathering of about 50 artists that create handmade goods, performance pieces, etc. In one space where you get to sample all of their work. And I am going to be participating in that show. I'm so honored. I just launched my Etsy page with my handmade candles and bath salts and teas, etc. And for them to ask me to participate so early in my handmade business career is amazing. So just stay tuned for more information about that. And if you don't already follow me on Instagram at RockStar_BarGirl, definitely make sure you do, because there'll be tons of information there. If you're in the New York area around the end of January, you're definitely going to want to come and meet me. I would love to meet you guys, and I'll be doing free tarot readings at my table. So come check me out. But anywho, let's go ahead and get into today's topic, which are the top 25 cocktails that every new bartender needs to know. And I don't want to make this too long. So what I have done is in my online course, obviously we go over all of these drinks in detail. We learn the recipes and I demonstrate how to build these cocktails. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk about the 5 categories of drinks that a new bartender needs to know and the most important cocktails in each of those categories. And then if you're interested in learning the recipes, how they're made, getting in demonstration, maybe being shown them so that you can practice them at home, then you're going to want to go over to my website and check out my ebook, which has the recipes in it, or enroll in the full course so that you can get the demonstrations and all of that good stuff. So I'm going to start off by giving you the 5 categories of drinks that you absolutely want to know as a new bartender. Whether you're working in a casual environment or a more fine dining environment, these types of cocktails are going to be ordered no matter what. Those 5 categories are highball drinks, what I call on the rocks drinks, straight up cocktails, juicy drinks, and shots. Okay, so let's talk about each category, what it is, and the most important cocktails in each of those categories. So starting off with highball drinks. Highball drinks by far are the most popular type of drink that you are ever going to make behind the bar. A highball drink is made in a highball glass, and I'll include a link up above to my glassware video so you can learn all about the different glasses that you are expected to know and use. But highball drinks are made in a highball glass, and they are all made with one liquor and mixer. So it can be any amount of mixers as long as you have one liquor and mixer, and that's all you have in your drink, you are making a highball cocktail, okay? The most popular, or the most important, I would say, the most important of all the highballs is a cocktail called the highball. This is the cocktail that gave us the name for this entire category of drinks. And a highball is simply whiskey and ginger ale. So again, one liquor and mixer. In this case, it happens to be one mixer. But the highball is simply whiskey and ginger ale. And it's very important that you know how to make a highball because all highballs are based on this recipe, okay? And like I said, in my ebook, I go over the recipe and it's written out for you, the exact measurements and proportions, but all highball drinks are based on this concept of about 1 to 1.5 ounces of a base spirit, being whiskey, and your mixer, being ginger ale, in a highball glass, which is a fairly short glass. These proportions come together nicely, and so every other highball drink is based on this concept. So you definitely want to know what the highball is and how to properly make one. I have notes down here, so that's what I'm looking at. The next super important highball cocktail for you to know is the screwdriver. The screwdriver, like all of our highballs, is built the exact same way with one liquor and mixer. In this case, it's vodka and orange juice. But the reason why the screwdriver is so important is because it informs how we build highballs that are made with a juice. So our highball cocktail, our whiskey and ginger ale, is made with a soda mixer, a carbonated beverage mixer. Our screwdriver takes that exact same concept and those exact same proportions, but instead of a carbonated mixer, we're using a juice mixer. So these two drinks are super, super critical for a new bartender to know. They inform everything you do in the world of making highballs. And then the third really important highball that you want to know is the Cuba Libre. The Cuba Libre is simply a rum and cola with a lime garnish. So it's very similar to your highball. The reason it's so important that you know it is because it is very, very popular, and it's one of the few popular highballs that involve rum as its base spirit, okay? Rum is made from sugarcane, and you can learn more about your spirits in my Liquors Basic 101 video. But rum is made from sugarcane, so it's a lot sweeter than the other liquors that you will be working with, and understanding how to work with it and the flavor profile that it lends to your drink is important. The Cuba Libre is also really important because there are many variations on this cocktails and ways in which you can experiment with using citrus in this drink. So the highball, the screwdriver, and the Cuba Libre are the three most important highball cocktails that every new bartender must know how to make, okay? And again, exact recipes and proportions are available in the recipe lesson in my 40-page ebook, The Fundamentals Every Bartender Must Know, and you can get that on my website. So moving on to the second category of drinks, we have the drinks that I refer to as the on the rocks drinks. And the reason why I say I refer to them like this is because you probably know that any cocktail can be made on the rocks, in the sense that the term on the rocks simply means over ice, right? So you've probably heard drinks ordered this way a bajillion times, and when someone asks for their drink to be on the rocks, they're simply asking it for it to be served over ice as opposed to it being served neat or straight up. But when I say on the rocks, I am talking about cocktail recipes that have to be served in a rocks glass. And again, visit the glassware video for a refresher on what a rocks glass is and why it's different from the others. But a rocks glass is a shorter, did I just make like a loud whistle? Gap Life is a shorter glass. And when it comes to this glass, the type of drink that should always go in it is a drink that is made with all liquor and no mixers. It's entirely too short for mixers to be involved. But there are some recipes that don't use mixers at all. They're all just liquor or liqueurs. And in that case, you would want to use a short rocks glass. So when I say on the rocks cocktails, I'm talking about those recipes that only go into a rocks glass when served over ice. There are two that are super, super critical for every new bartender to know. The first, you've probably heard me talk about a million times, and it's so important that I made a video just about this drink, and that is the Old Fashioned. The Old Fashioned is, in many people's opinions and mine, the most important classic cocktail ever. It's important because it completely encapsulates all of the concepts to cocktail making. It teaches you how to take liquor and make it into a drink, right? Because you can have liquor in a bottle, but liquor in a bottle isn't a cocktail. And it might be a little hard to understand what the difference is. When is my liquor not just liquor in a cup? When is it now a cocktail? And the old fashioned truly teaches you exactly what that is. And it teaches you how to balance the proportions of your spirited bases so that you can go from liquor to cocktail. It's super, super important. And I can guarantee you that at some point, and probably very, very often, you are going to be asked on your interviews how to make an old fashioned. For me, I was asked how to make an old fashioned, I would say 10 times before I ever got asked to make one in the real world. Now that was like 15 years ago. Old fashions have come back into fashion and are very popular nowadays, and the average drinker is aware of it and it gets ordered really frequently. But when I first started bartending, the old fashioned was literally considered an old fashioned drink. It was something that no one ordered under the age of 50. And that you really didn't see anyone making except in the few craft cocktail bars that existed then. But because it's such an important cocktail in the cocktail world, it would always come up on interviews. Because at the end of the day, a manager knew that if you knew how to make an old fashioned, you were a legit bartender, because it just wasn't common. So knowing how to make an old fashioned is super important. It will come up on your interviews. Managers will want to know if you know how to make it. And once you learn it, you're going to learn a lot about how to make drinks. The second really important on the rocks drink for you to know is the Black Russian. The Black Russian is a very simple cocktail, as all of these on the rocks drinks are for the most part. And a Black Russian simply involves vodka and a coffee liqueur, typically Kahlua, as that is the most popular brand. The reason why the Black Russian is so important in terms of on the rocks drinks is, unlike the old fashioned, which works with spirit and bitters and sweetener, the Black Russian is made with liquor and liqueur. And a liqueur, as you may remember from your liqueur video, is a spirit that is very high in sugar content. It's at least 2.5% sugar, and it's usually sweetened and flavored as well. So that type of a spirit is very different from the liquors that you will work with, which typically do not have flavors or sweeteners added to them. So understanding the proportions of how to mix a liquor and a liqueur together to make sure that your drink isn't overpoweringly sweet or lacking in flavor is really important. And it's going to inform pretty much the way all other on the rocks cocktails are made. So the proportions for these drinks and the recipes, again, you can easily get for free in my ebook. So if you are wondering what the proportions of these ingredients should be, just make sure to check that out, and there will be a link below. So let's move on to the third category of drinks that every new bartender needs to know, and that is the straight up cocktail. And just like on the rocks, you've probably heard people order things straight up all the time. And what it means to serve a cocktail straight up is simply that you want your cocktail chilled and then strained into a cold martini glass without any ice. Okay, that's all straight up means. But there are certain straight up cocktails that are really important in terms of informing how all other straight up cocktails are built. All right, there are three really important straight up cocktails that every new bartender needs to know. That is the martini, the Manhattan, and the cosmopolitan. All right, so let's talk about each of those. And hi guys who are in here, welcome, welcome. Please make sure to give this video a like so that I know that you guys like the tip of the week coming to you in a live format. And if you have any questions about anything that I am talking about or that I've talked about so far, just drop it for me down in the comments. So let's talk about the martini first. So the martini is a classic cocktail made with originally gin, but nowadays more popularly with vodka. But it's made with vodka or gin and a little bit of dry vermouth. And it is stirred over ice and then strained into a martini glass. The martini and the way that we build the martini is really important because it teaches you how to stir a cocktail. And anytime you are making a cocktail that is made with all clear ingredients, you must stir it, especially if it's being made with vermouth. Okay, so you know the whole James Bond, I like my martinis shaken, not stirred. That's from the movies, and it's really cool. And of course, to each their own. If you do like your martini shaken, then shake the hell out of it. But technically, according to cocktail building rules, a martini is not supposed to be shaken. Vermouth is basically a fortified wine, and so just like wine, shaking it can actually damage and what they say bruise the ingredients, changing the flavor profile of that ingredient. So a martini is not supposed to be shaken. So it's really important, especially if you're going for interviews in craft cocktail bars where they might ask you to make a drink. They are expecting you to stir any drink that has all clear ingredients, like your old fashions, like your martinis. And so learning how to make a martini and learning how to stir properly is really important. And if you check out my martini video, then you'll learn more about how to make one and how to stir. The next really important straight up cocktail is the Manhattan. The Manhattan is the whiskey counterpart to the martini. And it teaches you all of the same techniques. It teaches you how to properly stir and strain a cocktail and build it straight up. But the Manhattan is important because it teaches you how to work with sweet vermouth versus dry vermouth. And so this is something you're going to want to understand so that you know why the Manhattan, which is a whiskey-based drink, needs sweet vermouth rather than dry. And it is possible to make a Manhattan with dry vermouth, but it totally changes the flavor profile and all of that good stuff. The third really important straight up cocktail for you to know is the Cosmopolitan. This is super, super important, especially if you are working in a casual environment. You are gonna make a fuck ton of Cosmos. Period. Some will be asked for on the rocks, but 9 times out of 10, people want theirs straight up, and they want it to be that perfect, frothy, pink blush color. So knowing how to make your Cosmos right is really, really important. The other thing that your Cosmo teaches you is how to shake a straight up cocktail. A Cosmo has juice and citrus in it, so it's not a clear cocktail. And in this case, you wouldn't want to stir your Cosmo. You would definitely want to shake your Cosmo. So knowing how to shake a cocktail and then strain it into a martini glass is very important. So we have our stirred straight up cocktails and we have our shaken straight up cocktails. And if you learn these 3 straight up cocktails, then you will have a very good understanding on how to build straight up cocktails no matter what the recipe is. All right? If there are any questions, again, please make sure to just drop them down below. And if you like this type of video and you like this format, make sure to give me a thumbs up so that I know, all right? I'm gonna have a sip of my tea. And I don't see any comments coming in, so I'm just gonna keep rolling, all right? All right, so let's move on to the 4th category of drink recipes new bartenders need to know, and that is the juice drink, or what I call the juicy drink cocktails. So your juice drink cocktails are the drinks that understandably have a juice base to them. These cocktails are important to know because they also often have more than one liquor. So they are not highball cocktails. And once you have a drink that has more than one liquor, then you are going to need to get yourself a bigger glass. So juicy drinks are usually made in a tall glass, or what is sometimes also called a Collins glass. This allows you enough room to make sure that you can put in enough spirit so that the drink is strong enough, but also have enough space for enough of your mixers that the drink actually still tastes good and doesn't just taste like alcohol, okay? So there are 3 really important drinks in the juicy drink world. The first one is the daiquiri. Now, the daiquiri would not be served necessarily in a tall glass. It's often served straight up. That's how people usually order it. But the reason why the daiquiri is important and why I put it into the juice drink category is because it's made with lime juice. And the lime juice is the most critical part of the recipe, in my opinion. The lime juice in a daiquiri should always and only be fresh lime juice. You do not want to make a daiquiri with Rose's lime, which is condensed like lime syrup. That would be really sour and sweet and cloying and terrible to the palate. You are going to want to make your daiquiri with rum, fresh lime juice, and a sweetener, typically agave. Now you might be saying to yourself, wait a minute, what is she talking about? Every time I've ever had a daiquiri, it's been like a frozen drink with an umbrella in it. This is sort of a trendy modern version that got popularized in places like Miami, where nice frozen cocktails are really popular because it's so hot. So you will oftentimes see things like strawberry daiquiris and things like that on menus and be a little bit confused. A daiquiri that is frozen is usually just some pre-made fruit mix, rum, and ice put in a blender. And those can be good, but that's not what we're talking about in the cocktail world when we talk about a daiquiri. When we talk about a daiquiri, we're talking about the classic cocktail version, which again is made with rum, fresh lime juice, and a sweetener like agave. But this drink is going to teach you a lot about how to balance citrus juice and sweetener so that your drink is not too sour and it's not too sweet. This is also kind of one of those like trick questions, sort of like the old fashioned, where if it comes up on a interview, especially if it's not in some like trendy place that sells frozen drinks, if the manager asks you on your interview, how do you make a daiquiri? They're not talking about the frozen thing you get at Applebee's. They are talking about a classic daiquiri. So you're going to want to have a recipe in your pocket, memorized, and know how to build that drink. I did a whole video on the daiquiri, so definitely check that out. The second really popular and important juice drink is actually a whole category of drinks, and that is the Collins. So there's the Tom Collins, there's the Mike Collins, there's the John Collins. There are various Collinses that you will want to learn. But the word Collins basically just means sour mix and club soda. So a Collins is a drink that has a spirit base, club soda as a balance, and then, sour mix as a balance, and then club soda added on top. The reason why this drink is important is because it teaches you how to work with sour mix, which I put into the juice category. Sour mix, if you don't know, is basically a combination of lemon juice, lime juice, and sugar. And it is a very commonly used ingredient in drink making, especially in the casual cocktail world or the casual bar world. Sour mix must always be shaken. It can be very thick, and it can be really sour or really sweet, depending on the brand. And shaking it over ice is really important to diluting it and making it like enjoyable and actually drinkable. So all Collins drinks and anything else made with sour mix should be shaken. This drink also teaches you how to work with a topping. And your topping, if it's carbonated, should never be shaken, because anything in a shaker that is carbonated is going to make your shakers pull apart and explode on you. So you wouldn't shake that. So that's a really important drink to learn, an important drink technique to learn. If you're looking at a recipe that's written down that doesn't actually explain how to build a drink, you might get yourself into serious trouble if you don't shake the cocktail with the sour mix in it, or if you try to shake the cocktail with the club soda or the soda topping in it. And you don't want to make that mistake on an interview, have everything explode everywhere, or fail to shake your drink properly. So definitely make sure that you learn how to make a Collins drink or any drink with sour mix or a soda topping. And then the third super important juicy drink is the Long Island iced tea. This drink is important, first of all, because of its incredible popularity in the casual bar world. Now, I think everyone who is old enough to drink has probably had a Long Island. And some people really kind of gravitate towards them. Most people, I think, would agree that it's not our shining moment as a bar industry, whoever created this drink. It's not our best moment, okay? It was not created for the purpose of being like good. Sorry. If it's your drink of choice. It was created really for the purpose of getting you as drunk as possible, as quickly as possible. So it includes 5 different spirits: vodka, gin, rum, tequila, and triple sec, with a little sour mix to bring it together, and a little bit of cola on top to color it brown and make it look like an iced tea. So it's not really made from the perspective of like creating an amazing cocktail, but it does the trick. All right, it's a lot of alcohol. It's usually about 2.5 ounces of alcohol in one glass when you're done making it, versus 1.5 ounces of alcohol in pretty much every other mixed drink. So it's definitely a drink that will probably get you drunk, and for that reason, it's really, really popular. So understanding how to make it is important, because there is a huge risk of being irresponsible with alcohol safety and like over intoxication with this drink, because there's so much alcohol in it. So understanding how to build one and the importance of keeping each of your ingredients to a minimum so that you don't go too far over 2.5 total ounces is really key. And similar to the Collins, it also teaches you how to work with sour mix and how to work with a carbonated topping. So I would definitely learn how to make a Long Island before I start going out on my interviews. And again, all of these drink recipes are covered in detail, written out for you in my ebook, The Fundamentals Every Bartender Must Know, which is available for free on my website. Just head on over and join the mailing list, and you'll get it immediately emailed to you. So if you're interested in thanks for the like. So if you're interested in the proportions and the exact recipes for the drinks we've been talking about, just go there. You can get all of my recipes for free. And if you want to actually see demonstrations of how to build all of these drinks, as well as getting all the tools that you need to practice making these drinks at home, then you're going to want to sign up for my full course, which is on sale all weekend long. All right? And then finally, we're going to talk about the 5th category of drinks that every new bartender needs to know, and that is shots. Shots, 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 right? I don't have to tell you why it's important to know how to build and serve shots. That is super key to bar service. It really doesn't matter what type of bar you work in, whether it's a dive or super high end. At some point, someone's going to order shots of something, and you are going to want to be able to pour those confidently and competently and understand what they're talking about. Now, before I talk about the types of shot recipes that you need to know, I just want to give you a little heads up about shot recipes. The thing about shot recipes is every single drink, every drink recipe, no matter what it is, can be turned into a set of shots. So it is literally impossible to memorize all the shot recipes out there, because it's impossible to memorize all the drink recipes out there. The term shot refers more to the service, the preparation, and the size of the drink than it does to the recipe. I could take a martini and make it into shots. I could take a Cosmo, a Black Russian, an Old Fashioned, any of the drinks that we've talked about, I could serve them in shot form. So if you're a new bartender, I don't want you to get stressed out or overwhelmed by the idea that like, oh fuck, I have to memorize 100 different shots, because when I go out, I hear people ordering Jolly Ranchers and Kamikazes and blue this and yellow that and all of these crazy cockamamie things that people come up with for shots. Don't stress it. That's what Google is for, all right? It's way more important that you understand how to build and serve your shots than it is to commit any particular group of recipes to memory. So that is my first message about shots. Don't stress it. Learn how to build them first, and then learn a couple of important or cool or common recipes. When it comes to shots, I think there's really one recipe that you truly need to know, and that is the kamikaze recipe. The kamikaze, like I said, is a cocktail recipe, like all shot recipes. And it is fairly common for people to order their kamikazes on the rocks or straight up as a drink. But it's more common for people to order their kamikazes as a set of shots. So what I like to do is I like to teach my students how to make the kamikaze the drink, and then I teach you how you take that drink recipe and turn it into a set of shots, however many number of shots you need to make. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, doesn't matter. You would follow the same rule. So what I did was I made a 2-part, thank you for the like, I made a 2-part video for you guys. The first one you can find right here on YouTube, and it's called How to Make a Kamikaze. And we talk about the recipe, which is simply vodka, triple sec, and lime juice. We talk about the ingredients, the proportions, and how you would shake it and strain it into a straight up glass or into an on the rocks glass for drink service. But on my website, there's a longer version of that video where we talk about that stuff first, but then I teach you how to take that recipe and turn it into a set of 4 shots or any number of shots that you need to make. And that is so critical. I have my own method that I'm pretty proud of because I think it applies to every single drink recipe out there, and I teach you my personal method. So I am able to take a recipe of any kind for making one drink, and no matter how many shots of that you want, I know exactly what I need to do to make sure that when I'm done pouring my shots, every shot glass is filled to the same level. I don't have a whole bunch of liquid left over, or I'm not like terribly short or anything. So the most important thing about pouring shots and learning shots is how to build them so that you have the right amount of liquid for your shot glasses. Recipes are secondary. But learning the kamikaze recipe, because it's so popular, is definitely going to help you out, and it's going to teach you a lot about drink building. So make sure to check out the short version of the video here on YouTube, or if you want to learn how to turn cocktail recipes into shots, then check out the longer version on my website. Either way, you're going to learn about the kamikaze, and that's super important to shot making. It's literally like the most popular shot recipe out there, and so many. Oh, Closet Caster. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Don't worry, I am doing this every Friday at 4 o'clock going forward. So just tune in next week, and thank you for checking me out, and thank you for the donation. That is so sweet. So the kamikaze, super important to building shots. I cannot stress enough how much the kamikaze will teach you. All right. If anyone who's on here has checked out the kamikaze video, let me know what you think about it. I loved making that video because as I was making it, I was like, man, the kamikaze, like, it's such a nerdy, like bartender nerdy thing for me to be like, I really love this drink because it teaches you so much, but I do. It literally teaches you so many glassware rules, technique rules. Definitely check it out, Mad Dog. I think you're going to learn a lot from it. Check out the short version. vegan. But like I said, if you are a little intimidated about making shots or confused about how to turn any recipe into shots, then definitely check out the version that's on my website. It's totally for free. Just enroll and check that version of the video out. But it teaches you like a fuck ton about building drinks. No lie. Super, super important. So while I still have a few of you in here, those are the 5 categories of cocktails that every new bartender must know, and the most important cocktails that you need to know in each category. So if you're just joining us, definitely go back and watch the beginning of the video. And if you're a new bartender, just write down those drinks that we just covered and say, do I know how to make that? Do I know how to make that? Do I know how to make that? If you just commit those to memory, you are going to be off to a great start, and you should have ease in any interview if anybody asks you how to make a certain drink, okay? Oh, Russia, that's okay, baby. Don't worry about it. Like I said, you can always go back. The video saves automatically, so you can go ahead and pick right up. And if you have any questions, just let me know. I may have already covered it, but I'm happy to go back over anything that you are interested in. But while I have you guys, I also want to let you know that all of these, ooh, have a good shift. Friday night after Thanksgiving, I know what that's all about, Mad Dog. I hope it's busy. I hate to give you the bad news. It's probably going to be dead as a fucking doornail. So I'm going to put into the universe that your bar is busy tonight, so that you make some money having to work the day after the holiday. No Thanksgiving in Australia? What? I didn't even think about that. Okay, well then in that case, just get your Friday night money on. Well, that's so interesting. So here in the US, pretty much it's like the world dies after Thanksgiving because everybody's in a food coma. Nobody's trying to spend no money on going out or anything like that. So if you're stuck bartending the day after Thanksgiving, the day after Christmas, the day after New Year's, it's always just like so miserable because you make no money. You're just standing around doing like nothing. But I want to let you guys know that all of the drinks that I just talked about, as well as plenty more, are covered in detail with demonstrations, full recipes, and all of that good stuff in my course, The Fundamentals Every Bartender Must Know, which is on super duper sale this weekend. I'm doing the biggest sale of the year. I will not do a sale like this, I don't think, until like Black Friday next year, probably. So if you've been thinking about taking the course, now is the time to enroll. And if you're not sure if it's right for you, then remember that my ebook, The Fundamentals Every Bartender Must Know, is totally free. It's 40 pages and it covers everything that's in the course, including these recipes. So if you're like, I'm good, I don't need a demonstration, I don't need bar tools to make these at home, I got my own tools, I just want to know Allie's recipes for these drinks, then just go and get on the mailing list and get the free ebook. That way you can see the recipes and make flashcards, or just, you know, make sure that you've got, you know, good recipes in mind, or etc., things like that. So before I let you guys go, we're nearing the end of our time. I just want to check in and see if there are any questions or comments about the most popular recipes or getting started as a new bartender. Melody, you're late, you're gonna go back and watch the video? Absolutely, no problem. Yeah, we went over a lot of drink recipes that you're gonna want to know, so definitely check it out. But also, like I said, if you just want the recipes, you can just download my ebook by joining the mailing list, and they're all written out for you. So you can also, you know, if you wanna read how to make these drinks, you can do that too. Oh, you're very welcome. All right, guys, so I think I have addressed all of our topic for today. I want to thank you guys for checking in on the day after Thanksgiving. I'm surprised I was not expecting anybody to pop in today, because I was like, everyone is in a coma. Everyone is still asleep on the couch with their hands in their pants, like trying to digest. I'm still full. I have basically like not eaten anything today because I am still full from yesterday. So I was like, everyone's just going to be knocked out. So I really appreciate those of you who tuned in with me today, who gave me those likes. I really appreciate it. That really helps me gauge how much people are liking these types of videos. Thank you so much for the donation. That was my first official donation and completely unexpected, and I really appreciate it. You know, that just tells me that you guys like the material I'm bringing you and appreciate the content, and that really helps me to figure out what else to give you and what else to bring you, because I want to give you material and topics that you're interested in. The last 2 weeks that I've done this live video, the topics have come directly from your comments and questions. So there is no comment or question too big or too small. If you are curious about something or you want to learn something, just leave me a comment down below. If it's a small comment or it's specific to you, I'll just respond to you. But if it's a question like this question was, that involves a very lengthy answer, I'll just do a whole tip of the week about it, and you can tune in and we can talk about it live time. So I really appreciate you guys tuning in. If you came in late, definitely make sure to check out the beginning of the video, because I gave some really important announcements, including information about my big sale. Use the code Black Friday to take $150 off my entire course and RockStar Bar Kit. And you will have the opportunity to meet me if you're interested in that in January at this artists show that I am doing. So check out the announcements at the beginning of the video to learn more about that stuff. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you got a ton of information and got all of your questions answered, and I will be coming back for next week's tip of the week on Friday at 4 p.m. So if you haven't already, make sure to click on the bell button down below so that you're notified when the video starts and you don't miss it, or you're not late for those of you who were late. Thank you, Melody. I truly appreciate you tuning in. I'm really glad you appreciate it. So you guys enjoy the rest of your long holiday weekend. Head over to the RockStarBarGirl.com to join my mailing list so you get all of that free good stuff that I was talking about. And I will see you guys, as always, in the next video. Bye, Rockstars.